So I fundamentally believe three things. I fundamentally believe the modern go-to-market flywheel is content plus intent plus outbound, all underpinned by a layer of foundational AI. And that's what we've tried to build. We're at the very early stages. However, the data that I've seen is that content drives intent, which drives meaningful outbound, and it drives reply rates and meeting bookings.
GTMAI podcast with Jonathan Moss and Coach K, where you get the latest with AI and GTM today. GTMAI podcast with Jonathan Moss and Coach K.
GTMAI podcast. I'm Jay Moss, going to be your host today with an amazing guest I'm super excited to dive into. But first, in case it's your first time watching GTMAI, here's what we do. So we move beyond high-level theory. Our audience loves tactical, actionable, and transparent breakdowns. So we want to show you exactly how to solve specific problems that you can apply to your own business, to go to market, regardless of what role you're in. And so think of this as kind of like a show and tell for business leaders. So we only bring on some of the best that do two things. One, they're in go-to-market. So they're go-to-market operators, or they're building in go-to-market, or they're kind of founders, executives of businesses. And two, they're building with AI, not just talking about AI, but actually building hands-on keyboard. And that's why I'm excited to intro my guest today, Scott Walinski, who's going to show you exactly some of those things live today. So how you doing, Scott?
I'm good. How about you?
Living my best life, my friend. Tell the audience a little bit about you. So tell them who Scott is, a little bit about your background and why they should listen.
So my background is I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've grown, scaled, and exited 4 businesses. I currently am co-founder of GTMFI. I have a day job still. I'm part of the retail advisory group at Genpact, 150,000 person company, publicly traded. My background has gone from retail business owner, retail e-commerce operator, to retail consultant and retail SaaS founder. Those are 4 of the businesses that I sold. Then I went to big corporate CPG. I ran global enterprise e-commerce for Church & Dwight. I then went to Suez WTS, which is a legacy GE company, so B2B manufacturing. I left. I joined a company called Acumen Solutions. 4 days later, they got bought by Salesforce.
4 days. That's all it took. See, I made it back in 4 days, baby.
I know, it was amazing. And so after that, Salesforce paid me some money to go work somewhere else. And then I ended up at ThoughtWorks, helping run the retail advisory practice at ThoughtWorks as a retail SME. I ended up running all the technical directors in North America for pre-sales. I then kind of did a little hopping around. I made a mistake and joined a company called H-Tech. That experiment was only 8 months. But out of that came the learnings, which has now become GTMFI. So at H-Tech, I was tasked with building the retail vertical. So I fundamentally believe that partnerships is a really good way to go to market. So what we did is we onboarded 35 ISVs. In 3 months, we built a bunch of accelerators with those ISVs. And then we took partner overlap data out of then Reveal, now Crossbeam, and orchestrated partner go-to-market campaigns using Band-Aids and duct tape and Zapier, and not the sophistication that exists today. But the hypothesis worked. We were able to build $100 million worth of qualified pipeline between 5 and 60% in 3 months.
No.
So when I got rifted because they missed their quarter, everybody was like, this is a good idea. So I took the couple months to build the alpha. I brought on a technical co-founder, Josh Carter, who's in the UK, who's amazing, and we wouldn't be where we are today without him. And then GTMFI was born. It started off as a partner orchestration tool, but everybody was asking me for direct orchestration. Like, partner's great, but it's a hassle to get a partner involved. And so we still support some partner go-to-market outreach, but the prime use cases are like a customer wants to run outreach. And the 2 primary use cases that we support are, you're a small enterprise, like mid-market company that does B2B, whether it's SaaS or solutions, and you have reps, and those reps have an account list, or you have a target account list. And so the problem that we really tried to solve was in the go-to-market space, there's a lot of really good point solutions, whether it be for email or LinkedIn or email and LinkedIn outreach. And like, there's good solutions for enrichment and there's good solutions for a lot of the different things, but there's no cohesive way to orchestrate it all together except for Clay. And in order to orchestrate it with Clay, you need to be a go-to-market engineer. You need to understand how the tables and dependencies and everything all works. And so our primary target persona is sales leaders, growth leaders, and marketing leaders from the business side who want to grow pipeline and don't want to manage 30 tools and 30 subscriptions. And the goal is to really democratize go-to-market in a meaningful way. So I fundamentally believe three things. I fundamentally believe the modern go-to-market flywheel is content plus intent plus outbound, all underpinned by a layer of foundational AI. And that's what we've tried to build. We're at the very early stages. However, the data that I've seen is that content drives intent, which drives meaningful outbound, and it drives reply rates and meeting bookings. So we've built a pretty sophisticated content engine, and the other piece that goes with content is content engagement. So we're transparent. We've taken a whole bunch of products that we think are best in breed, and we've orchestrated them together in a meaningful way. So we have content engagement, we have content publishing, all done through a myriad of other tools, but with a consistent UI on top of them all that you can interact with all of them in the same place. It's one subscription and you're off and running.
Love that. So you mean, wait, so just to be clear, I like managing 30 different tools, and I love going into Clay and trying to figure out how to do all these tables and all these things because I just have so much time to do all those things. So yeah, man, I don't know what you're talking about here.
Cool. So you're not our ICP
I'm
and you're
just
not our
kidding.
buyer persona.
No one wants to do any of that. No one wants to do any of that. So I love what you're talking about here and doing, because especially, I've always felt that to your point, there's a very small portion of people that, well, I don't know that there's anyone that want to manage the 30 tools, but there's a very small portion of people that want to go into like a Clay or something like that. And I think it's more where, how can you open those same capabilities you just talked about with orchestration and content and intent and outbound. So outbound's not dead. You heard it here first. So don't listen to LinkedIn. But ultimately, to be able to do that for just your average person, like they don't need to be a GTM engineer. They don't need to learn how to do these things, but they still want the outcome. They still understand what to do and how to do it. They just can't do it in the tools that they have today. So love what you're doing. So for this, tell us a little bit about what you're going to show us, what problem you're tackling to solve, and then we can jump in and walk through exactly what you're doing.
So I can walk everybody through there's a couple different problems that I can show in solutions. So one of the first problems that we encountered was, what is the customer experience like when you onboard somebody into a platform like this? How do you get the appropriate amount of context about their company so that it's not a daunting process? Because anybody who's used any of these go-to-market tools, it's like, all right, you got to fill out your ICP, you've got to populate your personas, like you got to populate your products. And so like we've built an onboarding process that I think helps with that. It's AI enabled, of course. And then the second thing I'll show you is I'll kind of show you like the UI of where we're at today with GTMFI. It's a stripped down version. It's not the one that's currently live, but it's the one that I'm going to show. It's actually something that we built for another customer in a build and transfer. And I actually just had my CTO just remove the logo from it so I don't break any confidentiality rules. And he changed the logo to our logo. So like this is a build and transfer that we did for them. And it has a very, very specific capabilities that I think are hopefully interesting to the audience. And then the third thing is like, was a pet thing for me. So I hate meeting follow-ups. I'm
Oh,
terrible at them. And so one of the things that I did like selfishly is, we moved to an AI enabled first CRM. So we started with HubSpot. I mean, it's good, it's clunky, it's expensive. We then moved to Attio. Attio's amazing. It's just a Ferrari, and we didn't need a Ferrari. And so I needed like a skateboard or a scooter. And I'm not saying that Clarify.ai is a skateboard or a scooter. It's more like a Honda. And so for us, that's really where we needed for a CRM. And so like the CRM problem was one thing, but the meeting follow-up, like if you're in back-to-back calls, like how do you follow up with these people? Like how do you remember at 6 o'clock at night what the context of your call was at 9 o'clock in the morning, what the action items were? There's so many good tools out there. Like we use Circleback, there's Granola, there's Fathom, there's all the different things out there, but we built a pretty sophisticated automation off of Circleback that I'll show everybody as well. So I got
awesome.
like 3 very unique things that are very different, and I thought we could go through all 3 of them.
Let's do it. I'm excited.
All right, so rock and roll.
Rock and roll, baby.
Rock and roll. Everybody likes my standard background. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So the first one is the GTMFI onboarding. So this is where you set up your workspace. So your domain, Jonathan, what's your domain?
AIbusinessnetwork.ai.
Okay. The other thing is that it's a service company, right?
Yep.
So the other thing is that, so now it's going to go out and scrape your website while this is working.
Tell us what's going on in the background here. So you've got an agent that you built that powers this to go scrape websites or just a web scraper?
So there's an agent that runs in the background. Failed to fetch site data. You can proceed without any data. Go back. Did I type in your URL? AIbusinessnetwork.in.
That's it. Yeah. Make sure my website's up.
I was just going to say, maybe your website's down. No, it's up. All right. Well, we're going to punt on this one. This is awesome when this doesn't work.
All good.
Oh, there you go.
There it goes. Right there. Yeah.
There you go. Any additional context that you want to add, short bullets or snippets, like this is like ICP. You can add them here. You can add text after the fact. This can get updated or whatever. But yeah, there's an agent in the background that's scraping your website, gathering the information, processing it, and just generating an understanding about your company. And so here, now it's generating content about the company summary, the description, your capabilities, the challenges you address, and customer benefits. So like this is 5 different things. So this takes a little bit longer. I mean, this is normally, there's the first one.
Nice. Oh, that's pretty quick, actually. So it's building all of this. So for those watching, so this is, I'm assuming, tell us a little bit about how this information is going to be. Is this going to be using the content and understanding ICPs, being able to?
So this is the first step in building the foundation of the understanding about AI Business Network.
Nice.
This is the first step. There will be further steps at each additional process, like for like the LinkedIn setup, for like the email setup. But this is the first foundational step to build out basically your workspace. And then this information is, you can see my screen move. That's Claude Cowork running on something that you and I were talking about earlier. It's running on another screen. And so, yeah, this is the first step about building the foundation that becomes used in all of the messaging for whether it be email, LinkedIn, SMS, WhatsApp. If you choose to do like handwritten pen to paper, like snail mail letters, like that's something that's a capability. So like your high value intent leads, like who sends people mail anymore? It's highly effective when you do it. It's expensive, but it's highly effective. So now that that stuff is all done, you can go in and I can edit the summary. I can manually edit it. I can rerun it. I can AI refine it. So we're going to continue and assume this is good. So this is going to generate my primary buyers. I can also add custom personas.
Nice. So it's going to help me determine, based upon everything, who my ICP is. So if I don't know my ICP, and it's kind of interesting, you see a lot of go-to-market leaders and even smaller businesses and startups and things haven't figured that out yet. So this is going to help me understand who potentially my primary buyers is, or if I already know who those personas are or buyers are, I can just update it here, upload something too. So you kind of got best of both worlds.
Got it. So like, let's add a custom persona. So like this is marketing. So it's basically going to just generate these. So like VP of marketing, VP of sales, right. And so like, let's say that those are your three. So entrepreneur or operator. So VP of, all right. So let's go with those two for now. So I got the entrepreneur and operator and a VP of sales. So now for use cases, if I want to add a custom use case, so like while this is going, so what would be a custom use case for your business? So a custom use case would be like a product, a service, like how you work with somebody, how you engage.
Yeah. So typically we would engage with folks and help them understand and build out their AI strategy, implementation plan, how to think about their use cases and ROI so they can be successful with deploying AI across their business and actually generate the value that AI can give. So we could probably say AI strategy and implementation and business consulting, something like that, I think would be good. And implementation. There you go. Yep.
All right, so let's go with those. And so lastly, a couple things. So then for differentiated value, we can generate a suggestion, and the status quo, we could generate a suggestion too.
Nice. So this is awesome because this is helping me do a lot of the hard work and tedious work that it takes for you to do a lot of these things, which are super critical for you to build the right content, approach the right people with the right messaging. Otherwise, what you find, and obviously, some of those listening, if you haven't done this before, is you'll go after the wrong people, or you'll go after the right people with the wrong content and wrong messaging that doesn't, that's not appealing to them. So obviously they're not going to react to it, respond to it, or try to move forward, right? Because they don't understand it's not connecting to their pain point. So this is something that can help you do that super easily.
Yeah, I mean, like this becomes the foundation of everything, right? If you don't know who you want to sell to, or who buys from you, or why they buy and what problem you solve, like those are things that like need to be addressed first with something like Jonathan does, or like we do in part of the onboarding. So like, this is all stuff, like if you don't know these things, like we would help you flush them out. But realistically, foundationally, like if you don't have some of this stuff in place, like even ideas, it's going to be hard to run anything meaningful. And so you hit done. And then here you want to add your sending domains. So AIB business network email. So let's see whether that's available. So that's available.
And so this is now finding me domains.
So this is checking domain availability.
Nice.
So this went out and checked. Frankly, I don't know whether this is hooked to Cloudflare, or Porkbun, or GoDaddy, or I forget which one. Like it's changed a couple times. It also might have like fallback. So it might go to one if it doesn't work. The reason why I know .email is we bought GTMFI.email last night for something.
Oh, nice. And tell everyone why I need multiple domains.
So when you're sending cold or warm outbound, you're going to not use your primary email domain. You don't want to risk the challenge or occurrence, or you don't want to risk that domain getting burned and flagged as canned spam, because it would affect Jonathan's regular email to Scott. So when you're doing prospecting, you're using stuff that's like a lookalike domain. And the way it works is you send from that lookalike domain, the mailboxes get warmed up, and you send from that lookalike domain. And then once you get a reply, you reply back to the interested warm lead, you do a handoff you basically copy the email or the sales mailbox or whatever. You do a handoff to your primary domain and to your primary sales workflow. So it's seamless. The customer doesn't, the client, the prospect doesn't ever see it. It just kind of all happens.
Yep. Super important when you're sending outbound emails. Thanks for the explanation there.
.net. I saw .net last night. There you go. See whether that's available. See, once you confirm the domains, so now your onboarding is complete. Like this onboarding wouldn't be triggered. So the way it works is somebody goes to the website and either pays, or we make modifications to like the terms or services, and it's a custom contract. And the way the workflow works is if it's an executed contract from PandaDoc, then it generates the invoice. The invoice goes, once the invoice is paid, it's triggered and it triggers onboarding. And so once this onboarding is complete, there's other stuff that now happens in the background. And then we set up a call to go through like what you put in and then start to provision everything behind it. And provisioning everything behind it, when it's done, it looks something like this. And so in the UI, and again, like I said, this is a stripped down version. This doesn't have everything in it. This doesn't have the content in it. But basically what you just saw me complete in onboarding feeds into this go-to-market intelligence. So here you have your products. This is the demo product, SiteGlide Studio. This is the summary. These are the capabilities of that. What is the differentiated value, the status quo, the challenges addressed, the customer benefits. So like all of this stuff for you, Jonathan, like what would happen is that onboarding is complete. And then there's a check, there's a human in the loop to make sure that the invoice was paid before we start spinning up all of the stuff, because spinning up all of the stuff has a cost.
Yeah.
And
but
so
basically after I went through that onboarding, what you're saying basically is now all of this stuff gets populated for me based upon that foundational information that you just captured in the onboarding. And so this is expensive work. Like if you had, for folks that either have to hire an agency to help them do this, or hire a team to help them do this, or trying to figure it out, or even worse, skip this, which you see a lot of times because it's hard work or they don't know how to do it. But to your point, what you've talked about is like, this is the foundation for everything that you do, and you'll burn time, money, effort if you don't set this foundational information up. And what you're showing here is a super easy way. I mean, you went through that even not knowing, like if I went through it, it probably would have taken me short time, but even you doing it without even knowing, like was about maybe 5 minutes max. And now I get all this information that sets up my foundation for success, which is freaking phenomenal. So,
and so all of this stuff comes in. So all of these things work together, right? And so here you can edit this information, you can edit all of this stuff. So like, what are the capabilities? What is your differentiated value? You can add things to it, like primary URL, products. And so you save those changes and you're back here. So like, these are the key things as far as like the product goes. Value, challenges addressed, what is the status quo? What is the customer benefits? Qualifying questions, like this is a good fit signal, bad fit signals. And then you go down into the personas. And so these are the people that you would want to sell into. So like if I see a CTO, this person, what are their primary responsibilities, pain points, key objectives, key concerns, common job titles, why they matter to us, why we matter to them. And again, qualifying questions. So that exists for every persona, head of digital transformation. And then you get into use cases, right? And so like the use cases would be like what we talked about on the onboarding. So like AI strategy or AI implementation. So here, operational workflow automation. So if I look at this again, what is the summary? What are the scenarios, the desired outcomes, the business drivers? And then if we want to have customer segments, what are the specifics of that segment, right? What are their priorities, considerations, unique approach, firmographics for that segment? And then who are your reference customers? how they make money, how they use the product, how they benefit. All of this information becomes the foundation for everything that gets done after this. Proof points, reduction in hosting costs, and then who are your competitors? So Wizzy, like this is what they do, and some of that stuff will be used. And so all of that becomes the foundation for like the campaigns. So then if you were going to go into the campaign and create a new campaign, my typing skills have fallen off because I just use Whisper Flow now for everything.
It's so funny. So the last guest I had, Scott, said the same thing, and I was like, man, I'm the same way. So I use Willow now. I used Whisper Flow, and I tested both of them, and so I use Willow. But same concept, right? And I swear I think I'm probably like 80% audio now, and just talk to my computer for mainly almost everything. So for those of you that are listening and are still typing too much, go check out Whisper Flow or Willow and use them.
So here's the business network draft test campaign, like eligibility rules. Like you can see that as I change the eligibility rules, it changes the JSON format. So it's in B2B, B2B full and limited. So we'll just do that. And the sequence. So this is here where I can build like a sequence, right? So if I want to have a 3-step sequence, I want to do email, send delay. You want this to be medium personalization. I like dogs. 3 days. Maybe you want this to, and then, all right. And so I can save that, and then governance here, you can have human in the loop, or you can have it full intent, and you can choose whether it's only going to go to high intent leads. And then contact monitoring is something else. So like if you're monitoring that contact, you could suppress it if it comes in, but then you save the campaign. And so there's the AI Business Network campaign. I'm going to change that to active. All right. So then there's your campaign. And that campaign then flows through the back. And if it all worked right, it flows over to Lemlist, which is one of the tools that we use for Outbound.
Mm.
And so there's your campaign, AI Business Network.
Nice.
And so it built the campaign. It's got 3 steps: email 1, email 2, email 3. And so this just has the content because that content is dynamically generated.
Okay.
From all of the go-to-market intelligence. So Lemlist is just the vehicle to send the generated content. It's just the delivery vehicle. It's not doing anything else except sending the mail.
So you're taking all of this information that you just went through, you're dynamically creating content, and then Lemlist is basically just taking that content and pushing it out to, or it's actually sending the email to the different personas and different things like that from all of the things in GTMFI.
Right. So
Nice.
You go into the prospect hub. And so like these are prospects that have come in through intent. So if I look at this person, I get their contact information, they've been enriched, title, company information, engagement, like what page they engaged on. All of this stuff this is not an ICP fit. And then like, here, I'll do this one. So like once you have the campaign built out, then those prospects start to flow into that campaign. And so here you have, for instance, so this is that same person that is in this campaign. You can see the content of these emails. Oh, this is what Josh and I did the other day. And this shows executed, but like this is pending. I like dogs. Test 1, 2, 3. And then you can save, generate. And so all of this stuff, I'm doing it manually and I'm massaging it, but all of this stuff happens autonomously. Once the intent signal is received, and we use Quanzu for on-site intent.
Mhm.
He's a member of Pavilion. We also use Quanzu for offsite intent and contact monitoring. And then we use like RB2B, Warmly, and Vector for on-site intent. And we have all 4 of those tags that go into a client's site. And what we do is we take all 4 of those signals. So here's your response, aligning startups with delivery. So like, here's the response. Here's all the content that was generated.
Oh, wow. Okay. So all this is all this was generated. And so can you tell a little, just explain maybe 30 seconds or less what's happening to generate that? Are you using like specialized, I know you're obviously using the information, but just on the back end, are you using different types of specialized agents or what are you using to,
So there's
help
an
to
intake. So there's different agents that there's purpose-built agents. So there's an agent that generates email copy based on on-site intent. There's an agent that generates email copy based on off-site intent. There's an agent that generates LinkedIn copy based on on-site, same thing and so forth.
Nice.
WhatsApp, SMS, like it'll also generate cold call transcripts, like if you want a cold call. So there's all of those purpose-built agents, and then those agents are reproducible across client workspace. And then as part of the onboarding, some of those nuances and specifics are modified dynamically within them.
Nice.
So that's kind of the idea of like how the sausage is made.
Awesome. I think you're going to show another one, which is one of the favorites we talked actually talking about before we jumped on, which was all the, we live by, actually my day yesterday was this way. I was complaining about it. It was death by 30-minute paper cuts for me all day long. And so obviously, and I always think to myself, when am I actually going to get work done and follow up and do those things? And I think you experienced, because you love meeting follow-up so much. You're telling me about how much you absolutely love just sitting around and typing up all your emails.
They're amazing.
So would love to see kind of what you've come up with for that.
So this was a meeting. So we built an automation, and I can kind of show you like under the covers. So we use Circleback for the meeting recording. So this was a meeting that I had earlier. And so like it has the whole transcript. And so when that ends, there's a follow-up that sends a webhook to N8N.
Nice.
And so in N8N, this is probably, so in N8N, so it gets the webhook and then who it's from, and then it's processes the first email draft. It uses Anthropic, extracts information, Anthropic, and then basically what happens is stuff gets delivered to Slack. And what it looks like in Slack is like, hey, next steps for the demo. These are the follow-up. I can customize this, and this shows me what I want to see. I can approve it. What do I want changed? I want to make this more concise. I can add other people to the email. Then it will run again. It basically will loop again. And
so you can approve it and it sends, you can rewrite it. It looks like, so you can, what you just did was like, I want to change some things in it, and it uses AI to do that as well.
Correct. I don't actually want it to send. So the way it's set up is it replaces the email, converts the HTML, converts the fields, and then it comes up with a draft. So the draft looks like this. There it is. So, ta-da.
Dude, that's awesome. That is amazing. So no more having to go back and get your transcript or get the summary and then try to figure out what you're going to say, then put it in the email. Now all this does, it does everything for you, puts it in the draft, and then you're ready to either send or edit. That's pretty slick, man.
Yeah, and it goes in the draft, and then I can edit. And sometimes, like, thanks for the time today. Sometimes I won't get the email today, so I have to change it to like, hey, thanks for the time yesterday, or thanks for the time on Friday. So like, depends on if I get to it or not to get out, but like it's there. All the heavy lifting's done. So yeah. And then if
That's
I
awesome.
don't like this again, I can rewrite it with the Google Gemini AI. AI is rewriting AI.
AI is rewriting AI is rewriting AI again. Nice.
Yep. And so, I mean, there's a lot of steps in it. There's like, a lot of processes, and it was a lot of trial and error to get the tone and the voice and all of those things right. But, it's one of my favorite ones to date.
I can see why. Especially those that have, 10 meetings, hell, even 2 or 3 meetings a day, you still don't want to do it. So yeah, you can see for the busy folks, or even not, just you can spend that time doing more creative things, more complex things, or hell, building another automation that can save you even more time.
There's lots of them. So,
well, man, these have been 2 amazing things that you shared. So I can definitely see how, any size company, whether you're just starting up and you're trying to figure things out, or you're even a larger scale company who's got a lot of people working on things, or has an agency working on stuff for you, how they could use these tools to not only get better content, to drive better results, get better revenue, and doing it in such a way that's not complex, or that you don't have to have a go-to-market engineering degree to figure out. So this has been phenomenal. So Scott, tell us a little bit about where we can find you, where we can find GTMFI. So for those that have watched this, so they can kind of reach out and follow you, or follow the company.
So I'm available on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn only. So it's just first name, linkedin.com/in/Scott Walinski. There's not too many Walinskis, so I'm pretty easily identifiable. You can find me also through GTMFI.io, and it's just Scott@GTMFI.io. I think that's kind of it. I mean, you can find me playing with my kids on the weekend and doing that kind of stuff, but that's it. I mean, like, this and my job at Genpact is like pretty consuming.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I got 2 kids myself, so, so I definitely feel you there. But everyone, go check Scott out, check out what he's doing. He's also one of the instructors in our AI go-to-market school at Pavilion. So super excited for your session coming up. And this has been another freaking phenomenal episode of GTM AI, where we're bringing you people that are actually building and actually solving problems. And Scott just showed you 2 of those today. So again, thanks for the time, Scott. Another great session, and appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me. It was a blast.
Awesome. Cheers, y'all. Till next time.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to the GTM AI podcast. Please like, subscribe, and come back for more.